just because it's a long comment, I'm going to assume it's a good one. And if it's not, we just won't use this. The Grand Wizard says, when LeBron
Hold on, his name's the Grand Wizard?
Yeah, this better be good.
I mean...
My life is a movie, but no acting, I'm happening. Drip too hard, I think I need a napkin, I'm splashing. I'ma make these millies, all this rapping, my passion. They used to make fun of me, what happened, who laughing? My life is a movie, but no acting.
Y'all know last week we talked about Jordan and LeBron, the never-ending barbershop conversation. And it's always going to be a good conversation. There's never going to be a point where it's not great points on both sides. However, the comments on specifically one of the things you mentioned, the 1,200 shots comment, there's quite a bit of disagreement and calling out and things being thrown your way. And I think y'all would enjoy, I would definitely enjoy, and I want to hear your thoughts on what's being said in response to you. Give you a chance to kind of not fight back, but just respond and
it ain't a fight. See
if you can convince some people otherwise that were very on one side. If you can kind of teach them something about it, or if maybe you're wrong in some ways.
Maybe.
So I'm gonna pull up the comments, the ones that I feel like are actually like some maybe some good points for you to respond to, or the ones that are just funny. If there are some.
Look, I love hoops, so I'm always down to learn, always down to debate, always down to talk about it. But let me just preface all this with saying it's all peace and love. Some of y'all took some things personal, but it's all peace and love. I love all y'all. And Jordan just ain't the GOAT.
And you got some people saying, kind of alluding to this man can't be a baller if he's saying these things. He must not really play basketball.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. The most common thing that's being said, by far, is probably 70% of the comments. Ain't no way in hell LeBron is a pass-first player. I am tired of people saying that. Just because LeBron said it in one interview, everyone ran with it.
Okay. Is my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
I'm talking in terms of like how Jordan plays, how Kobe plays.
In comparison.
It's going up. Yeah. Like he makes the right play a lot of times and it pisses people off, especially fans of Jordan and Kobe who's, this is my shot. This is the last shot. I'm taking it.
That used to piss me off.
We're going to live or die by me. This is my team.
It used to piss me off about LeBron.
Me at times too. But at the end of the day, he makes the right play. Like he makes the right play almost every time. And it doesn't have to be him shooting the last shot.
Do you really think those passes are the right play? If he's the best player on the court, isn't him taking the shot the right play?
In certain circumstances, yeah.
Because, look, I'm going to be honest. The first half of his career, I didn't hate LeBron, but I didn't love LeBron. I was always like, why is this dude not just taking over?
It had a lot to do with that, though,
just
right?
take over. Yeah.
He makes the right play. That's what I mean by he's a pass-first player. Like,
so that's what
obviously he's a scorer, but like...
So that's what a lot of people have been saying, too. Like, if he's truly the GOAT and if he's better than Jordan, why isn't he the one taking the shot in the last second every time?
But why does
if he's that guy.
Why does that make you the GOAT? Because you take the last shot. Every time. Why does that make you the GOAT?
Because if you do and you pull it off, you're untouchable.
If you make the right play and you win the game, why does that not make you a better basketball player?
But it's not always winning the game when he does that. That's their point.
Either way, it's never going to be always with any player.
But always, when Jordan was in the finals, he won.
Okay, cool.
There's an always.
So you want to give him the better winner or the better... He's not more clutch. So you...
Okay, so here. Okay, that's another one.
He can be a better winner. That's cool.
Okay. So I'm
talking about player. Greatest basketball player of all time.
So that's depending on how you look at it. So some people consider someone a better player if they have more championships. Some people consider someone a better player based off of their stats. Some people take both into account. Mm-hmm. A lot of what people are saying is it seems you take stats over championships and playoff performance and how you gauge who's a GOAT and who's not.
Moments.
Yeah.
Like great moments.
Yeah.
I take all of that into account.
Okay.
But at some point, this was brought up to me actually by the homie. I can't remember his name, but I met him at a party and we had the best talk about this.
Shout out to the homie.
Shout out to homie from the party. Peace and love, baby. So he said, at some point, or at what point, do we equate or allow it to kind of even the playing field, LeBron's longevity and how long he's been great and dominant for so long has to kind of weigh the championships thing. Little essential plug. At some point, like, because there's so many factors that go into being the GOAT. We can't just fixate on the championships. We can't just fixate on the stats. We got to look at everything. But we can't ignore or punish LeBron for being great for so long because Michael didn't play that long. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because
there's a lot of people
in the same way, if you flip it
about
about championships, of course they don't.
They're like, you know, they basically make a point of you could be one of the greatest for 20 years or be literally the most dominant for 9, and that's more important.
So let's look at the 9 and who he was playing against in the league. Because the beautiful thing is all these comments, and I love it. I love all the talk about Jordan, LeBron, all of it. But the beautiful thing is all of those accomplishments were achieved in that league. It wasn't the same league as today. So I don't want to take away from his greatness. It's a different era of basketball. But it is better now. It is much better now. And a lot of the Jordan fans, especially young kids I hear saying Jordan, have never watched Michael Jordan play like a full game back then. The league is monumentally better, like talent-wise, A to Z, athleticism, all that kind of stuff. He wasn't playing against and I got into that on the first one. But that's why I don't like comparing the two. They're different eras of basketball. It's a completely different game they're playing.
Okay, I'm looking for some more comments. Let's see.
And I'm also okay that certain people
disagree.
Yeah. I like that. And it's all love. But at some point, like, you can't just hate him to hate, you know? And a lot of people do that with LeBron.
A lot of people do that with anyone who's great.
Yeah,
if you have haters, you're doing something right. Yeah. That's a fact. This conversation is like saying a certain car engine is better than a newer, faster, more efficient fuel-injected engine. Jordan would have been an average player today. That's someone agreeing with you, clearly.
And to see, I appreciate that, dog. But I don't think he's not going to be an average player. He's going to be dominant. But it's different. It's going to look different when you're doing it against the talent we have today versus back then. It's going to look different.
They're also making a lot of points on LeBron shot thousands and thousands of more threes than Jordan.
I love this. So
yet Jordan still had all those points without shooting all those threes.
Cool. We can bake him some cookies or give him a fucking, you know what I mean? That
and there's a lot of people saying the 3-point never moved.
Huh?
And there's a lot. You made a comment of the 3-point being longer or closer or whatever. There's a lot of people saying the 3-point line never changed between Jordan's era and LeBron's.
Well, it was like the beginning of Jordan's era.
But and even if the line didn't move, where they shoot him from definitely changed.
Yeah, for sure. Like, just look at the game. And if I got a rule or stat wrong, I'm okay with saying that. It's fine. But the 3 conversation, like, you're going to punish LeBron for having a wider tool set? You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of people saying, but all LeBron's, think about how many of his points were layups and easy dunks.
How many of his what?
His points.
His points.
Yeah.
They just don't like the way it looks.
Right. And that's
they just
so
don't like the way it looks.
I'm going to agree with that because I like the way it looks better when it's a demon out there just doing daggers and embarrassing people like Kobe, like Jordan, like AI.
Melo getting 30 or Tim Duncan getting 30? Who do you want to watch more?
Right. Not Duncan.
But
no
how many
offense.
points did they get?
Right.
30.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's not sexy.
Like, they just don't like the way it looks.
It's not sexy a lot of times. Bron's big games are usually not sexy.
No, and he the reason it doesn't look sexy because no one else can do what he does. He's literally a tank going to the rim.
I think people expect for LeBron to be part of the Jordan conversation. For some people, they expect moments like that game in the playoffs against the Celtics, where he went off for whatever he did in like a 2.5 minute.
Demon mode.
Yes,
crazy.
And I agree though, because people like Kobe and Jordan have done things like that so often, and LeBron is like you pick 2 or 3 of those moments ever.
I could see why that would
those moments are
contribute to someone not
and
liking
intense.
him as much, but that doesn't take away from his greatness.
Doesn't take away from what happened. And then,
but I can totally understand why that would make them love those other players so much more. I can understand that, but it doesn't take away from him as a player and how great he is.
But compared to Jordan.
What do you mean?
So it doesn't take away from him and how great he is as a player and from his accolades, but does it take away from the comparison to Jordan?
It takes away from how much someone might like
enjoy the style
or enjoy that player, yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't take away from the player.
So is there, because this is something that I've talked to you about and that I actually care about more than anything when it comes to comparing players in any sport, is clutch. And I said this in the episode, and I'm kind of wrong. I kind of wish I didn't say what I said because I disagree with what I said to a degree. Just because you're involved in more moments to have the opportunity to be clutch, and doesn't make you more clutch. And what I mean is, if I'm in, just for the sake of math, if I'm in 100 clutch moments in my career, and I succeed in 50 of them.
Okay.
But Jordan has, again, this is just for the sake of math.
Yeah.
60 clutch moments in his career and succeeds in 56 of them. Me having 100 moments but succeeding in 60, I have more clutch moments.
Okay.
But that's 60% success rate to Jordan's 91%, right? Who's better? The person that has more successful clutch moments, or the player that succeeded most frequently by far? Because I looked at the numbers, that's what it is. LeBron has had way more opportunities and clutch moments under his belt and succeeded in so many because of the amount there are. But the success rate of those clutch moments is drastically lower.
Okay. But so I agree. That's going to be where it comes to the subjectivity of this. Okay. Because it's about what topic, stat, point weighs more in your gravity of who's the GOAT. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's why it's all subjective, and I love it. I love the conversation because it's not a I'm right, you're wrong thing. It's how I feel and how you feel.
Okay.
It's not an attack. It's all love.
Because I mean, the clutch thing is definitely basketball more than almost anything.
Yeah.
It's definitely a huge gauge for me personally.
It does weigh a lot, but I don't think that's one thing to be like, oh, he's this, so he's bad. Like, no.
And there's also a lot of comments of, yeah, he's a pass first player, yet he only averages 2 more assists per game than Jordan.
That's a lot of assists more than Jordan.
There's also the 10 scoring titles that one has versus the other not having.
I mean, a scoring title? If LeBron shot as much as Jordan shot, those easy layups and easy dunks, you know how many points he would have? He'll have 50 a game. It's LeBron. Like, if he wanted to, now they wouldn't win. But he can have the scoring title anytime he wants it.
What about the people that are saying that it took so many future Hall of Famers to help LeBron get the rings when Jordan did it with only one?
I got one name for you. Actually, I got a bunch
Probably
of names.
the one that they're referring to.
Well, I know they talking about Scottie Pippen. Everybody know that. But I'm just saying, if you look at the teams LeBron had.
Yeah.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Oh, man. Drew, that team was abysmal. And then just look at his impact on the team. And I don't want to get away from the question. But I mean, that's a valid point too.
Okay, it's a
valid point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I've always said that too. Like, well, yeah, he paired up with.
It's also not his fault. Look at the league at the time.
Sure. I mean, look. Again,
things change, bro.
I'm not an NBA encyclopedia like I am with football, but
neither am I.
Am I wrong? In didn't Jordan struggle with the Pistons for a couple of years? Right, they were just dominating at that point, and then once you got Pippen, right?
And see, that's another point that Jordan fans will argue, and I mean I agree with it. It's tough. The whole league had to find a way to deal with Jordan. That's tough. You know what I mean? They adjusted their whole play style to deal with him.
Yeah.
Do I think that makes him better than LeBron? No, but I admit how great Jordan is. I just think LeBron's better.
And you got people saying, well, maybe Bron should have shot more and not passed it so much, and then maybe he'd be 6-4 instead of 4-6.
Maybe.
Let me see. Let me grab a couple more real quick, and then we'll wrap up these comments.
But we'll never know that.
Let's see.
And also, like, I tried to be neutral for a lot of things and admit, you know, where Jordan shines and stuff like that. But remember, LeBron James is the reason I ever picked up a basketball. And I'm retired now, still watching him dominate and be great.
That's crazy.
Like,
he
with his son.
You to play,
it's
and
insane,
he's played
bro.
and stopped playing, and he's still playing.
And still cooking,
Crazy.
bro. Like, it's dope. And people that don't appreciate that, that's when they just hating.
We got C's International that said, Jordan attempted 1,700 threes in his entire career. He lived in the mid-range and in the paint in a tough physical league. Le Flop attempted 7,000 threes in a softer, non-physical league. It just ain't the same.
You're right. It's better. He should have worked on his threes. He would have scored more points.
He wouldn't have had to get so physical. Okay, that's fair.
They just don't like the way it looks. That's what I'm telling you. Don't take away from the man's scoring. You just don't like the way it looks.
Past first player with the most turnovers of all time. Ha.
Yeah, still better.
Jordan averaged 30 points for his entire career, not just a couple seasons.
Say again.
This person said Jordan averaged 30 for his entire career. LeBron just a couple seasons of that.
His entire career he did?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan? What about when he came back?
If they're right. Yeah, that can't be including the Wizards. Yeah. That can't be including the
Wizards.
Wizards.
His entire career, cap. And cool. He's still not better. Like, congrats.
Okay. It's all this bullshit pass first stuff. There's a lot. It's so much about him not being a pass first player.
Again, averaging 30 against who?
I get it. We
and not to take away from the stars in that league, but I'm talking about A to Z on a roster.
It's
just different.
Wait a minute.
It's different,
and
bro.
that's a good point too. Because
that's why I don't like doing the era thing because he's not less.
None of y'all had anything to say or disagree with on the comment that we made about the generational talent being different in each era. So if you agree with that, then you can't come over here and say and disagree with it. If you agree that obviously the level of athleticism and talent and skill in today's league is way far above what it was, you can't then come and say when he says something like, yeah, against who? You agree. Against who?
And I don't even like saying that, but I have to when y'all come at it like that because it should be of his time, he is the greatest we've ever seen. Now, of right now, LeBron is the greatest basketball player we have ever laid eyes on. And that's okay.
Definitely the most durable. I'll give him that.
Facts.
Definitely the Iron Man for sure. Okay, here's one. Mike did everything he did off of 4 hours of sleep and gambling and smoking and drinking. And that don't make it all even more impressive to you?
No, I mean, maybe the conversation would be a little different if he didn't do that. And he played for 20 years.
I just thought it was a funny comment.
It is funny, though.
But that is wild.
I mean,
that
also...
he was just living life and doing his thing and having fun and still coming in.
Oh, it's incredible. But we're not going to take away from LeBron and his discipline because he gets 8 hours of sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
I say that and I don't even sleep.
That's crazy. Me either. Let me pick just a couple more and then we'll quit. We'll quit this little assault.
I love it, though.
It is. There's so many.
I love how passionate people are about this.
There's a lot of, it's all dunks and layups. There's a lot of that. When you play 100 plus more playoff games and have hundreds and hundreds of more regular season games, 6 extra years, all the free throws, better teammates, it equals more open looks, more efficiency, and take less tougher shots and less defensive rules. Of course he is who he is.
None of those things are his fault. It's not his fault he played more. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like that argument.
Okay.
It's not his. We're not taking away from him, taking care of his body and being this great for this long. You can't punish someone for that.
All right.
Which is wild because that's what it sounds like when they say stuff like that.
Just because it's a long comment, I'm going to assume it's a good one. And if it's not, we just won't use this. The Grand Wizard says, when LeBron
his name's the Grand Wizard?
Yeah. This better be good.
I mean.
When LeBron did that with 1,200 less points and being a pass-first player, he had earned 3 less championships than Jordan. So what that says to me is LeBron should have obviously shot more and been more aggressive. Maybe he would be in the conversation. I believe if LeBron was more aggressive, he wouldn't have had to leave Cleveland and would have probably had at least 5 chips, if not more. But all we have is what ifs. We'll never know for sure, so we're stuck with the facts. A person who can average 30-plus points in a season, wins league MVP, wins finals MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year, and who would go on to win 3 seasons in a row, twice, is still the best player and scorer, 30.3 points per game in entire career, and is the best player ever. And we knew that just from the eye test, without even understanding the aforementioned stats. That was
beautiful. What's his name?
The Grand Wizard. That was fire.
That was a very well written message. I have one thing to say to you. I really appreciate that message, and a lot of it's amazing. It's an amazing career, accomplishments, all that. I don't want to take away from it. The only thing I'll say is, against who?
Okay.
It's a different era of basketball. I understand. He's the greatest of that time.
Okay,
it's
I'm gonna wrap this up with really the main verdict to me that from everybody is he is not a pass first player. Stop it.
I think people fixated on that, but I'm not talking. Obviously, he's just like.
What you mean is he's not a ball hog.
He makes the right play.
That's what you mean. He goes off of his basketball IQ rather than this is my moment.
Just think about it. When he left Cleveland, how many games did they win? 6, something like that. So it was something OD.
Yeah.
Maybe not 6, but it was OD.
Yeah.
When Jordan left, they had the same season.
I don't know.
So yeah, he can gun if he wants to, but he makes the right play and he affects the team way differently than other players.
Well, there you have it. We dove into it a little more. Gave y'all some responses and looking forward to seeing if the conversation continues. Okay. All right. AI and Melo's still my goats, but all right.
Nah, you only had to pick one. You already picked. They're
not in that conversation, though. It's okay. I know. I can admit it.
We can put a different category and put them in it, though.
What would you call it?
Face up, jab, step. Well, they're not in the same category.
No, they're not. But what would you call it? The couldas?
Coulda, woulda.
The shoulda, couldas. Shoulda, coulda, wouldas if they had a better squad. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing AI never did was chase a squad. He always wanted to put it on the back.
But you got to remember the league was very different back then. There wasn't all this moving around. It was
usually one good player on a team.
Yeah. It wasn't. And that's what I mean, too, by different eras, like super teams and different things like that. It's a different time. Yeah. So, like, to fault LeBron for leaving or doing, like,
Yeah.
If the league were like that back then, people would do that more too.
Facts. All right, looking forward to.
I might need security.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what y'all think and further discussion. We're gonna move on from the LeBron Jordan thing for a little while. We might come back in a year, but appreciate y'all.
Peace and love.
Peace.